girl, it does not make sense. This back and forth of yours does not make sense because this guy ain't treating you that well, or this guy, what do you see in this guy? You know, he's a mess, or like, you know, alcohol, right? But there's just she's just like crazy about this guy. And once it's like that, once she's fixated on the guy like that, nothing can change it. Like nothing, no one can talk you out of that. And that is why a lot of women will get into situations that don't make sense.
Nandipa Makudumana, the alleged partner of convicted rapist and murderer Thabo Bester, could face criminal charges if it's discovered she's been practicing medicine after her license was suspended in April 2021. If so, she'll have been operating for 2 years under these conditions. It's unclear yet whether any of her clients will take action against her. As authorities are now racing to find the pair, the Health Professions Council announced that her license has been suspended due to non-payment.
Why would somebody like this
risk it all
and destroy her so-called perfect life for a man? I want to get into, since you like getting into people's psychology, I want us to get into her psychology. Just try to figure out why would she do stuff like that.
Well, you know, there's quite a number of things I can think that sort of come to mind. Like one is like what we said the last time is obviously love. You know, like, oh, you fall in love and whatever. But like women have a little bit more of a control on that, I do think, nah. So they like a control on like who they fall in love with. So that's why I put there is an element of responsibility on that person of who they decided to fall in love with. She's fully responsible for making the decision to fall in love with them. It's not like, I can't help myself, it just happened and whatever. That's what I personally think. So there is an element of responsibility, on the person. Just like Nonku, for instance. Nonku is marrying a criminal.
Yes.
Another one is overlooking everything that her man has done and whatever. Because they say, because apparently, like when you get to a certain age as a woman, you start like...
So age is a factor.
It's a factor. Age is a factor, a huge factor. Like the older you get, the less, I don't want to say the less options you get, but the more pressured you get, and you want to have the whole family situation to the point sometimes where you overlook a lot of things on the people that
what's weird is that these women are not just your average. These women are actually very successful.
Yeah.
You think that they have a lot more options.
But that's not the case. Like sometimes you would think that is the case. Like they don't have a lot more options in the pool of people that they might want to be with or might. If a lot of the people that are approaching them are people that they wouldn't look twice. Like, you know what I mean? Or like it's fans or groupies or things like that, or like, you know, guys that don't match up to the level, or like they'll end up now being with someone, maybe like someone who's really broke. I'm just making an example, like someone who's really broke, and then they're living off of them, they're living off of their fame and shit like that, you know what I mean? And it's a risky thing, especially if you are a public figure, I would assume. Like it's quite risky who you get involved with. So think about it, the entertainment space or the Osaziwayo space, right? There's not that much people to make it
but
that much option.
A doctor. Come on, like she was actually married to a doctor. Did you know that?
No.
No, Nandipa. Nandipa's ex-husband was a doctor.
Yes.
They were both like,
but like that's the thing, like sometimes you don't want that, you know, like how haven't we seen women, like you can go for the good guy there who's getting, let's say at school, the good guy who's getting all the great grades, the good grades and stuff, and then there's the bad guy, he's like your utolabo zero and all of that, but he's the cool guy and stuff. So we'll go for him. Well, how do you explain that? Do you get what I mean?
You're supposed to be explaining that. Of course, as men, we don't understand.
It it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make logical sense. But women will like something about a person. You get what I mean?
It's just masculinity. It's just masculinity.
It's just like how you carry yourself. Like, you know
so
what I mean?
The bad boys, they ooze masculinity more than your typical good guys or nice guys. The nice guys are more feminine.
Yeah, because they have this thing of like commanding, you know, like, you get what I mean? Like, the universe must shift for them, basically. And then it's like, women find that.
It still doesn't make sense, because if you just look at her, she's a qualified doctor.
Yeah.
She was married to a qualified doctor.
Yes.
Has kids.
She had the perfect family.
She had the perfect family.
Yes.
She ended up...
A man who probably she would not have been in the situation where she got into of losing her license.
She even did so well in her career that she became a celebrity doctor. She was a celebrity doctor. She was doing well for herself.
And then, boom.
And then... then she just meets this one nigga, and it's just like, fuck all that. Us men, we acknowledge that pussy has power.
Yeah.
We acknowledge that sex can control a man. You've seen many instances of men in loving families decide to leave their wives and stuff like that for, you know, a side chick or whatever. So we acknowledge that pussy power is a thing. Pussy can control a man, can make men do crazy things. Men have gone to war for sex and all that stuff like that. Now, in this situation where it's a woman who's like dick material.
For us, it's not necessarily that, although that's what we'd call it, but like, men can play good psychological games on women. I'm telling you, men play like strong psychological games, especially people like so like.
But men in general are not that good at manipulating.
Men are good. That's how women even give in to. How do you think married men make women make women date them? Yeah.
No, it's because
you manipulate them into doing it, and you sell them dreams, and you do all of the things that women want to be done, like women want from a man. And most of the time, the woman buys into the dream that you're selling them. So you become this, like, haven't you seen men that are, it's just that, you should see, like, men that are, like, abusive, like, mentally and verbally abusive. Why do those women stay in those relationships? Because those men are good with them, you know, the mouth, they're good, they convince, like, they'll beat you up and then they'll be like, I'm sorry, baby, you know, like, and you get stuck in that way.
It's just masculinity at the end of the day. That's just like peak masculinity to the point where it's like toxic.
Yes.
Where it becomes toxic. But it's peak. It's like these women are just completely submitted to these men.
Yes. So that's the same thing that happened to her. Is he did the masculinity thing there on her. He did exactly that.
So mind you, all rationale just
it goes out the window. It goes out the window. It just takes one man to do that to a woman. Tabo Besta might not work on another woman. You get what I mean? Or it's not one man can work on every woman. It's just that there's one woman that it will work on. And then usually when men find those women, then they stay, and a lot of those relationships do end up becoming those toxic ones that we know of and stuff like that. Girl, it does not make sense. This back and forth of yours does not make sense, because this guy ain't treating you that well, or this guy, what do you see in this guy? You know, he's a mess, or like, you know, alright, but she's just like crazy about this guy. And once it's like that, once she's fixated on the guy like that, nothing can change it. Like nothing, no one can talk you out of that. And that is why a lot of women will get into situations that don't make sense. Like this situation, it does not make sense. You risk your whole life. Now she might not be able to see her kids ever again. Do you get what I mean? And no woman makes that kind of decision consciously.
Well, she did, and she literally just picked up her kids and was like, bye kids, and went on the run. That's what she literally dropped off her kids at school and went on the run.
But she knew the father was gonna fetch them. Yeah. That's when you're already in a desperate situation, like, oh shit. But she didn't do it because she wants to. It's like,
but she
now you were like,
She still
How?
she could have went to the police and been like, okay, I know where this nigga at. He's here. Oh, go fetch him. Okay, I was complicit in this and this and that. Should get a much lighter sentence, or might even now get a sentence.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like we've seen lately, like a lot of women doing some choosing men
now she's
over
dead
their
ass
kids.
on that
It's
Bonnie and
kind
Clyde.
of- yeah.
She dead ass on that now. I wonder what would happen when they get caught.
Well, I mean, what can happen? A part of me feels like they know that's gonna happen. They're just going to enjoy like the last bit of time they have together.
I don't think Tabo Pesta loves her like that. He's just using her. So
Yeah.
for him, it's probably a lot different.
That's why I'm saying, like, he could dump her like somewhere. You get what I mean? And being on the run, and use his connections if he's got connections. Because the same way that he manipulated her into being a connection, he can do it to somebody else. Like, how did he get that right from prison? You know what I mean? Like, that's great.
This is a very, very strange story. Yeah, you guys just let us know what you think about this also.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like, subscribe.
And keep watching. Bye bye.
We'll check you guys in the next one.